Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on FNAF. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why Vanny and Vanessa might be two different people, and I'm also going to talk about why they might be the same person because I like to have both sides, and then I'm going to wrap up by telling you what I think. But first, oh my god, my last video popped off. I don't know what enticed a million people to click on my last theory video, but I am feeling the pressure for this video, so I just want to say that this is just a theory. Please don't attack me or anyone for having a theory. Theorizing is what makes FNAF fun, and oh my god, I've seen so many people tear people apart for their theories. I want to keep this a nice, wholesome community over here, so make sure everyone's nice to each other and let's have simple discussion in the comments below, okay? Anyways, without further ado, let's talk about why Vanny and Vanessa could be the same person. So there's a lot of things that we could go off of to prove this theory right. First, and probably the most solid piece of evidence, is the FNAF AR emails. I'm sure most of you who've been watching my channel for a long time know about the FNAF AR leaked emails, but for people who don't know, there is a FNAF game called Special Delivery. It is an augmented reality game on the App Store, and in that game there were some leaked emails that tie back to Security Breach, a conversation between Vanessa and Lewis, who works in marketing at Fazbear Entertainment. In these emails, Lewis aggressively flirts with Vanessa, which is really creepy. But during these conversations, Lewis also notices that something is wrong with Vanessa. She can go from really nice to Googling things like, how far can I hurt someone before they actually die? These emails also allude to Vanessa being the culprit behind the virus that is hacking all of Fazbear Entertainment. If you have listened to every single one of the CDs in Security Breach, you will know that in these therapy sessions, Vanessa talks about how she's friends with Lewis and that she is making this bunny costume, and the therapist basically accuses her of spreading the virus that is infecting all of Fazbear Entertainment.
I get a lot of messages from friends. I like when Lewis writes to me. He's funny.
It looks like you were shopping for a costume. You purchased some fake fur material. What are you gonna make?
So obviously all this connects back to Vanessa because in the emails it says her name was Ness. So obviously Vanessa making bunny costume, creating virus, Vanny is Vanessa. Another piece of evidence pointing to Vanny and Vanessa being the same person is that Vanny might have hacked the emails for Fazbear Entertainment to get herself hired as a security guard. One of the messages that we can pick up throughout the mall is titled "Marked for Deletion," and in this message it talks about how Vanessa was not a good option to be a security guard and that she will not be hired. But for some reason this denial of her application is deleted. I think Vanessa hacked into the Fazbear Entertainment emails and basically sent an email to them saying, oh, she's a great hire, you should hire her, and that's why she's working there when we are playing the game. Also, there's the obvious that we never really see Vanny and Vanessa at the same place at the same time, so. And my last piece of evidence to why they may be the same person is that Vanessa's voice is the one we hear that tries tricking us when we hit 6 a.m. and we can finally leave the mall.
Gregory, I think you deserve a reward. Go check the main stage.
It's Vanessa's voice that tries telling us to go back and go back inside the mall for us to get caught. So obviously if Vanessa was trying to help us and Vanny was trying to get us, Vanessa wouldn't have said that to us. So obviously same person. Also, I want to point out, I saw this in Markiplier's playthrough and it really popped a light bulb in my head. When you decide to listen to Vanessa and turn around and go back to the show stage at 6 a.m., you get jump scared by Moon. And when this happens, Plan A pops up on the screen. New mission, Plan A. And I think this might stand for Afton. Vanny A, Vanny Afton. I don't know. Maybe this is Afton's plan all along and she finally let it happen. Okay, that's all the theories of why they could be the same person. Let's talk about why they could be different people. And people seem to have been missing some key details that I have found. I have a lot here, so bear with me. So the main reason why people think that Vanny and Vanessa are two different people is basically because the fire ending. So in the fire ending, we see Freddy burn down the whole mall and then literally tackle Vanny off of the roof, killing both of them. Gregory takes the mask off Vanny to reveal Vanessa's face. At that point, we are in complete shock because never could we have guessed that Vanny and Vanessa could be the same person. But to our surprise, after the credits roll, it pans up to Vanessa standing on the roof in the flames, looking down, terrified. So that made us believe, wait, are Vanny and Vanessa not the same person? How is she alive? Isn't she down there dead? A lot of the counter arguments that I hear about this is that that is Vanessa's ghost, looking down on both of them horrified because she knows that she is trapped in the mall with all the rest of the souls for eternity. I don't think that's the case for a couple reasons. Number one, they don't indicate very well that that is a ghost of Vanessa. Like, she is not see-through, she is not sparkling, she is full color, full human standing there. And you could say, you know, maybe they didn't want to make her see-through, they didn't want to make it that obvious, and yeah, you could say that, but I think this franchise has done a very good job at differentiating what is a human, a living human, and what is a not living human, whether it be in purple form or in gray, sad form. So it kind of wouldn't be on brand for Five Nights at Freddy's to show someone as a ghost as a fully colored human. Next, we have the CDs, and oh my gosh, there's a lot to unpack because the CDs CDs were the main reason people were saying that they are the same person. This obviously proves that they are the same person because Vanessa talks about how she's making this bunny costume and blah, 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 blah. So obviously, if you've been paying attention to the CDs, there are two different people that therapists are obviously talking to, number 71 and number 46. Number 71 is the only one that talks. 46 never says anything the whole time. And we learn early on that 71 is Vanessa. We learn through these tapes that Vanessa is a rule follower. She's just trying to do her job, and that's when she talks about how she's friends with Lewis, and the therapist confronts her about talking to someone and that someone might be manipulating her through her emails. But number 46 is a totally different conversation. The therapist is talking to number 46 like they're a child. The therapist kind of plays dumb with 46, saying pretty common words that an 18-year-old would probably know, but then asking them if they know what the word means, or, oh, you don't know what that means, don't you?
I'm surprised by your knowledge of computers. You're something of a phenom. Do you know what that word means? It means you have unusual skill.
Also, there's an obvious difference in personality and preferences between the two people. For example, the flowers, one of them loves flowers and one of them hates flowers. One of them likes to be in the dark. One of them likes to look outside and be in the sun. Two completely different people. And I think people saying that they're just alters and that the therapist is talking to the same person, but it's just two different personalities at the same time. I just don't think that makes sense because the therapist doesn't acknowledge that ever. When one of them wants to look outside at the blue sky and be in the sun, and then suddenly another day they want to be in the dark, the therapist doesn't question it at all. When Vanessa and 46 contradict each other, the therapist doesn't really bring this up and doesn't really call it out that, hey, didn't you like flowers literally last week? And didn't you like being outside literally 2 days ago? You know, stuff like that. And in a couple of those instances, you could say, well, it's different therapists. They were getting murdered as the therapy was going on. The big if there is if those key personality traits were written into their notes. And also the numbers on the tapes, 46 and 71, why would the therapist label a same person's therapy session two different numbers? It just doesn't make sense. And the nail on the coffin for why they could be two separate people that some people seem to be missing is that in one of 46 tapes, the therapist says that 46 was caught on camera talking to Vanny.
I have this still shot the text pulled from the security footage that recorded you in the Pizzaplex. I know this image is distorted, but I think it looks like you. And you're not alone here. You're talking to someone. Or something. It's hard to tell. What are those things? They almost look like rabbit ears.
46 in the same room as Vanny talking to each other. For the record, she doesn't specifically say 46 was talking to Vanny, but she said 46 was talking to someone with bunny ears. And if the therapist who works for Fazbear Entertainment doesn't know what one of her animatronics looks like, that's a problem. So I think she didn't know what it was, aka it was probably Vanny. Another piece of evidence is the Lost and Found scene in the game when we are caught by Vanessa and then she throws us in Lost and Found and then she appears on the screen. Vanessa appears on the screen talking to us saying, you're gonna stay in there until the police or your parents arrive. And then all of a sudden Vanny's there and she's like, I'm coming to get you. And then Vanessa just comes hopping in the office 3 seconds after she was in her security uniform. And to the people that say, well, it's probably a pre-recorded message, I don't know why she would go through the effort of putting up her camera and ring light, telling people to like and subscribe, throwing it into iMovie, cutting it between the two clips just to show that to him in the Lost and Found office. It just doesn't make sense. I think Vanessa maybe had good intentions and wanted him to be safe and not get caught by any of these animatronics, and Vanny saw this was happening and took that opportunity where Gregory was stuck in the office to get him. And what people will say is that Vanny and Vanessa are working together, so Vanessa trapped him in the office to let Vanny get him. But why would Vanessa lie to him when he's already trapped? I don't believe she would just put on this show of like, I'm still a security officer and your parents are gonna arrive soon when he's already trapped. I feel like you would just show the Vanny thing and then just get it over with. There's like no need to lie to him anymore. Next piece of evidence is the past trailer, specifically the NVIDIA trailer. At the end of the trailer, we hear this.
And put you to bed. I see you.
Yes, that is two laughs happening at the same time. I know it's just an NVIDIA trailer. It's not even technically a real trailer, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. Also, I want to throw in the line from this trailer.
You will do as I say. You will bring me what I want. And if you fail me, then you will, both of you, burn!
where William Afton says both of you will burn if you don't obey. I had a theory that that might have been William Afton speaking through Monty to Chica and Roxy, saying if you guys don't obey, you're getting thrown in the pit of fire. But that could also be referring to Vanny and Vanessa. If Vanny and Vanessa don't obey him and get Gregory, then they're gonna be in flames. Also, there's the Funko figure of Vanny and Vanessa standing right next to each other, but that's just a little piece of evidence. I don't think that actually means anything. I'm just throwing that out there. Don't bite my head off, please. Next up, we have Fury's Rage. Everyone seems to forget about Fury's Rage. It is the game that Scott Cawthon put out when Security Breach was delayed. Everyone forgets about the VR sisters, but not me. Not John. How is this relevant? Well, in FNAF VR, we learned that the way Glitchtrap or William Afton merges with the beta tester for FNAF VR is through the VR game. You have to be playing the VR game and you have to collect all the tapes to be able to merge with him. That is how the Vanny character formed, and that is how we got here. It's just an interesting detail to create VR sisters in the Fury's Rage game. There's no reason, there's nothing else in the past series that indicates anything about sisters, especially VR sisters. So maybe Vanessa took the job at the mall to try and save her sister from William Afton. She's turning to Vanny and she's like, what the heck is going on? Why are you so crafty all of a sudden? I don't know. Just a theory. Also, they're different voice actors. Vanny and Vanessa are two different voice actors. Also, Vanessa is the same voice actor as Baby and Sister Location. So if you want me to talk about that in another video, I will. Also, Phasgoo. If you don't know what Phasgoo is, Phasgoo can literally take your DNA and create a full replication of you. It can literally make a twin. So maybe Phasgoo is the culprit. Anyways, let's get into the final part of this video, which is what I think. I think the story is completely different than it was in early 2021. The trailers we got, the lines of dialogue in those trailers, even the things that we saw in those trailers, ended up being almost completely different from the game we got. I think somewhere midway in development, Steel will notice that we were catching on to what the story was going to be, and we were getting a little too close to a conclusion before the game was even out. So I think they decided to switch things up, make things a little more vague, and cut some things out to make it more hard for us, because FNAF wouldn't be FNAF without all this speculation. Also, I think that game files don't really confirm anything. I've seen a lot of people say, well, Vanny and Vanessa are the same person because in the metadata of the game, in a secret folder, in a secret folder, in a secret folder, inside of a secret folder, Vanny and Vanessa are named the same thing, and this is their thing, and they're the same pixels, and did you see this, and blah, 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 blah. I don't really think that means anything. We have no idea what Steel was thinking when they were programming this game. None of that stuff was meant to be shown to the regular FNAF player and theorists. Did you know that Golden Freddy wasn't named Golden Freddy? Golden Freddy was named Yellow Bear. People went through the FNAF 1 files because people wanted to know what Golden Freddy's real name was, and they found Yellow Bear because in the game files, Scott Cawthon put Golden Freddy as Yellow Bear, and it didn't end up being Yellow Bear because it's just the game files, and game makers can put whatever they want in that stuff. So I don't take any of the game file stuff seriously. We don't know what their mindsets were when they changed anything, so I'm not counting the game files of Security Breach as confirming any lore because that's just not fair game in my opinion. You can theorizing is great. Go ahead, do that. I'm not going to. I also think there's arguments for both sides, and I think there will never be a right answer. Once again, this game is extremely vague. Like, there is little to no answers about anything. Literally all we can do is theorize, and I've literally seen people bite each other's frontal lobes off because they decided to theorize about the game. And if people want to believe that the crying child is Gregory, they can believe the crying child is Gregory. Let them theorize. It's the fun thing about FNAF. But I would lean towards, based on the books, based on the Phasgoo and all that kind of stuff over there that might be canon later on the series, I think it's a safe bet to say that they are two different people. That is my opinion. You can think the opposite, but I'm leaning towards that, but I could also see them being the same person. There is no right answer. That is my answer. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like it. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.